Hello, good evening. Before, I'd like to remind you that during these conversations, I don't have any pre-writings or pre-speech or even notes of any kind, indications, hints, nothing. It's all coming from top of my head as I go along. So you kindly have to take that into consideration that the conversation cannot be threaded the same way as it can be done by writing. It's difficult, it's impractical, it is improbable. So although I cover everything I have in mind to say, but the places sometimes are not exactly where they should be. I trust you understand that. This is the word I chose many years to replace the word hope, because at least it is a bit more materialized, can be more materialized rather than just a hope. Anyway, so yesterday I was talking about the word I invented or created, geolinguistics, that covers the language people speak, how it affects a country, from important aspects of those countries, which is social, economy, and political issues. I will go through that later on in the future, because these subjects are so deep, and I don't really want to spend all my time just for one subject. So today I opened a new chapter. I discovered the phrase that I use is called God, love, and hope. These are the same scales as they used to say God, king, and country. Well, two of those elements, they used to be material, which is the king and the country, but now all three are immaterial: the God, the love, and the hope. These three are the major factors, have influenced people's psychology, driven them into physical reactions. We don't want to follow, to do what we think we do. Other than that, the illusions are all over the place and can be done, and then most of the times are, if they can, be dangerous. You see people, they're thinking of the superheroes and they want to act upon it and they hurt themselves. They think of the magics, they think of the ghosts, heroes, heroic ghosts, and they want to produce them by themselves or other people, or waiting for them to be reproduced, but it doesn't happen. The spirit, which includes God, love, and hope, they are immaterial. And since we live on the ground level, which is the planet Earth, we are dealing with material all day long. We're wearing it, we're eating it, we look at it, we see wherever you go there is a material, and we are nothing but the material. So what are those immaterial world, I should say, are for. World. God has become a world for a vast majority of people, if not all of the people. After that, love is something that everybody, something is not a thing, is a theory that, or a spirit that everybody in the world running after it, using that word. And then finally the word hope is also lots of people are they using it many times a day, all through their lives. These three words are the major factor of compilations in our psychology, in our mind, in our spirit. We know the implication of God that makes the people in theory but not in practice. God is not tangible. We know that. And his existence, if it comes by other witness, we don't know who made them. Nobody has seen it. God has been introduced to human by its prophets. If there were no prophets, there would be no God. If a child is born and no speak of God to that child, when the child grows, it not knows God, has no image of it. We can't have an image of it anyway, whether you think of it or you don't. So God has been introduced to human by prophets and their books, claiming the words have come from God to them, their language, and been said to the fellow members. Is ideology, like all other ideologies, is subject to change. We know the word of communism. We know that 95% of the planet, in the span of only a fraction of the time that religion took, which is 1,000 or 2,000 years, in a matter of 50 years is swept the whole world. That in every part of it, the ideology of Marxism, in terms of communism and socialism, had been running powerfully and fastly from coast to coast in the entire world. And now we see the result of communism changed its ideologies. Every ideology changes. Religion is an ideology, is a philosophy. So far we can determine by tangible abilities, it does have none. It is not tangible, we can't see it, it's not a reality, it's a theory how we grew in our mind. It's a theory inside a theory, inside a theory, inside it. It's always debatable. Hence, not two people in the whole population of the world, 7 billion people, you will not find two people have the same image of God. Because nobody could ever draw it. It came by his prophet through his books introduced to us. Had they not been there, we would not have the God as such it is today. Then we become to the word of love. Love equally is used by every living person. Child, adults, men, women, different culture, different race, different education, different, all over the planet. the word itself does not exist, because it's an ideology. Nobody can ever picture the love to match another person's image. In another word, in the same scale, 7 billion people, you will not find two persons to have the same image of love. These are not coincident, it's only because it's not there. Now you see, the men been running after women since ever and ever and ever. Romeo and Juliet, Layli and Majnun, millions of heroic lovers that they went crazy and suicidal towards a female. They realized it's only for a matter of sex. It doesn't have no other bearing whatsoever. For men to follow to trap women in by words of love and trying to explain how love works and how much they are in love is all nothing but a complete sham. It's a lie, it's a deception, it's a false, and it does have no bearing on the matter of fact whatsoever. None. For men to love the woman, it is an impractical issue. Men simply don't have the ability to love. They need sex and they are confused with love. And that confusion carries on for the rest of their lives to be ruined and have no fruit but corruption. If the word was need, yes. If the word was care, yes. We can see how it can be implied. We can see how it can be practiced. But the word of love, it cannot be practiced except for sex. Men, for sex, they have the hormones that it grows inside their body biologically, and they need sex. And if they can't get the sex, they have to discharge themselves by pleasing themselves. And if they have the sex, they simply is a matter of preference, because it's something inside them that they have to discharge. This is a matter of fact, biologically, forensically correct. But to mix that with another issue of non-existence and follow that up all the way to the end is nothing but the corruption. And now the world is reached that point that it has corrupted itself through these words. For women to love a man that we don't see often at all, not through the songs, not through the poets, not through letters and begging on their knees like men do to them, is because they don't need the love either. Their physical situation arises once a month to tell them they have the womb. The womb tells them they need the child, because the womb is there for a purpose, which is to grow child in it. They need egg for that purpose. Once the egg is received, that is the end of business. So we see how we created all these ideologies one after another to entrap ourselves, thinking that is leading us to the path of victory and glory and success. But they all have backfired. There is no need to love. There is no need for love. After that, we run into hope. In 7 billion people, you will not find two persons to have the same image of hope. Is another corrupted word that it came through the history of the very far past, like a God, like a love, is nothing but the image of theory. There is no image of hope. Nobody can see the same way. These misinterpretations creates confusion and it creates misunderstanding. These misunderstandings become war. 3 words, they have changed the shape of human culture: God, love, and hope. 3 words. Imagine, depending on these 3 words, how far does it get us? We tell lies and lies and lies. Every one of those stages, it creates a pure lying fact, because this deceiving of trying to tell you what God is capable of, that is something that is impractical. What love is capable of is nothing but the bringing up lots of children and lots of hardship for women. Women have been suckered into this life by men who deceived them by the words of love. Men must understand that no woman likes carrying children, but they lack this understanding. Therefore, I am here to distinguish the races on this planet. The races of the planet, it comes into 4 categories. Categories number 4, gases. There are intelligence between the different gases. Those intelligence basically is purposed for longer living. The only purpose in this life to live longer. Some gases do, some gases don't. There are billions of gases. Some of them are more intelligent than others. They can last longer. They can live longer. Living on the planet, we need here to live. Everything on the planet is here to live as long as they possibly can. Category number 3, vegetations. There are millions and billions of different vegetations. Some vegetations, they live longer, means they have a higher intelligence than other vegetations. They are stronger, they tougher, they root deeper, they survive longest. Category number 2, animals. There are billions of animals. Some of them are higher intelligence, they live longer. Some of them are lower intelligence, they get crashed away straight very quickly. Category number 1, human. There are not millions and billions of different human. There are only 2 versions of human, man and woman. We have to define which one lives longer, because they have the higher intelligence. If that is to be a woman, then why are they so lower in society? Why patronizing them by saying women and children first? What does it mean? Why men world sees the women lower and weaker, unless they are the super race? Is for you to find the super race. One of them is a super race. You determine which one is a super race and why. Once you do that, you stick to it and you tolerate it, and don't be a bad loser, a poor loser. Accept the fact. This is the fact. Stop lying to yourself. Thank you.